What's up, guys? Trippy here again from WotS with another super awesome battle report coming at you. This time we're trying a little bit of a different format. A couple of people complained about the length of the intros for other videos, so I'm trying a new thing where I'm trying to shorten that a little bit. Obviously, you can see here we're in deployment right now. You can see the list up on the left side of the screen. Playing some Haley3 today. Super excited. She is so cool, so dynamic. Lots of people having a lot of luck with her. Obviously today not playing the trencher boat with her, so you can't do the cool thing. We make a trencher wall, a cloud wall, and then you tactical supremacy behind it, so that your models are basically immune to shooting. You're out of line of sight, can't be charged, anything like that. Obviously super strong. Cloud walls are really good. Unfortunately, I'm building this list for Legion, so obviously cloud wall is not going to be super useful against all that eyeless sight. Not sure if Haley's particularly good against Legion. They have a lot of things that kind of bone her, but she also has a lot of things that they don't like to see across the table. Temporal Flux is a big deal, as well as Revive to get like Storm Lances and Storm Blades in there. Get some extra attacks on those models, and Repudiate to knock up MkII off. But playing some Boom Howlers with her, try to get some defense stacking with Rage Howler going on. Obviously, they're very difficult to kill for a lot of Legion models. And so far, not too many games in with the list, but so far it's doing super well, and I'm having a great time playing it. Obviously, today not playing against Legion, playing against some Kromac2. Kromac2, the newest of the Circle Warlocks. We're playing new against new right here, head-to-head. Kromac, obviously super cool caster, super fun to play. I love putting him on the table. And this is the first time I'm actually playing against him across the table, so very excited about that. Not sure how the matchup's going to go. Obviously, Haley3 kind of gets screwed a little bit by the Druids. Counter magic is a big deal. Stops a lot of her assassination vectors, as well as Chain Blast to clear them out. Can't kill them with Electroleaps, and the list doesn't really have the gun mages, so actually removing them is going to be a bit of an issue. So I think the plan is going to be to trade Storm Lances for them, and then revive those Storm Lances back to get additional attacks later on. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully well enough to clear the Cloud Wall out so I can get my infantry in there. Get down and dirty with some Storm Blades and some Boom Howlers, but we'll see. Very excited. Obviously, a bit of a standard Kromac list. There are 2 Riderhorn Griffins in the list right now, which is very cool. Riderhorn Griffins, a great addition. Obviously, they clear infantry, which is something that Kromac has a little bit of an issue doing. He mainly relies on sprint and then just berserking around and killing a bunch of stuff. But also, Light Warbeast is just very good with Kromac in general, with his feet to buff him up. Carnage, they can kill a bunch of infantry in melee before they do their Animus to Screech and do additional damage. So obviously just a great list in general. Some combos going on with Black Clads to get acceleration on them so they can walk up Hunter's Mark and phase shift to get a huge threat range out of those War Beasts. 13-inch threat range with the feet auto-hitting on the charge attack. All that's a huge deal. Obviously great Kromac list. But we're on to the game. Everything's running up. Haley charged the Lancer, ended up missing her charge attack because she's not actually that good at fighting. Cast Tactical Supremacy on herself, one of my favorite places for that spell. And then made the 2 Echoes there, so you can see her in the middle. All the Boom Howlers running up. They're getting Call of Defiance, Dirge of Mist, and Arcane Shields, so we're not going to be too worried about some cheeky Druid Force Bolts walking up, just trying to take a couple of Boom Howlers out early. And then the rest of the list just moving in, filling in behind. The Storm Lances booking it up the table as fast as possible to try to get board presence. Storm Blades hiding behind all the Boom Howlers. Unfortunately, it gets a little bit crowded in the back of that list there. The Storm Blades can move through each other, but the Boom Howlers, obviously they can't, so they get stuck behind the Boom Howlers and all the support, and it gets a little bit crowded. AoEs may be a problem for this list. I'm not sure. Might be able to spread out far enough if I'm playing against a lot of AoEs, but we'll see how it goes. I'm still playing the list, and I'm very excited. It's a super fun list to play. Here come the Druids, so Druid Cloud Wall going down, Elemental Protection, Counter Magic, all that jazz, really trying to screw me over, which I'm not too happy about. Stalker's running up, warping Prowl into that cloud there, so he's getting stealth. And then everything else just filling in behind. Getterix moving up onto that hill there. And then the shifting stones being placed around to get some sweet teleport action going on next turn. There's a Black Clad and 1 Riderhorn on each side of the list, so obviously my opponent's going to have equal ability to clear infantry on either side. So if I do jam him up with Boom Howlers, he's going to have a chance to get some sweet sprays off with the Black Clads and then teleport back to Shifting Stones using acceleration. So obviously pretty balanced deployment for my opponent, and he can really hit my list either way on both sides. Kromac casting Aggravator just in case, giving his battle group hyper aggressive for all the War Beasts. and then just moving up into the larger unit of shifting stones with the unit attachment. And the Gobber's putting out the most superfluous cloud in the world. My opponent and I joked about it a little bit that unfortunately you can't get line of sight over there, and I couldn't really target them with anything even if I could. So they're just doing it for the practice, I assume. They gotta keep those bellows going. They don't want to get rusty. So with that cloud, that Druid cloud wall up, I don't have a lot of targets right now. Not a lot going on. I think I'm just going to try to jam out and start killing those Druids with Storm Lances. Start this attrition game going. So Victor Pendrick moving up, putting some Beast Lore onto the Boom Howlers just in case. We get some assaults going on into that Warp Wolf Stalker. One Boom Howler moving in the middle there. Gregor himself charging that Boom Howler in the back. And then some more assaults going off into the Druids. Obviously, Boom Howler's not great at actually attacking, so I don't expect these assaults to do anything. They're just free attacks that I'm able to make. You can see the rest of the Boom Howlers there clustering up in front of Murdoch. Murdoch's obviously very important, so I don't want him to die. So I'm trying to block teleport angles to get to Jonas Murdoch. Obviously, if he dies, revives off the table for that unit as well as Temporal Flux, so that is a big deal. No damage done by the Boom Howlers except by Gregor to his own model. He did get Rage Howler onto both of the heavies and then forced a command check onto the Druids, which unfortunately they passed. But here go the Storm Lances killing those 3 Druids that are in the way there. And then everything else is just filling in behind. So we're 3 Druids down. The Storm Lances are about to get plastered by Gitterix, but fortunately I do have Revive, so they'll be back. The Haley's moving up, putting out Temporal Flux. I don't have a reason to cast any of their spells right now besides Temporal Flux, so both of the Echoes are camping 4 in case any Druids decide to get feisty and try to Arcane Bolt them. And then the Stormblades moving up around them. And everything files in behind. It's a Dirge of Mist going down on the Boom Howlers, and then Tactical Supremacy letting me reposition the Haleys to get Temporal Flux on whoever I want. So trying to skew the defense of those Boom Howlers as hard as possible. They have Arcane Shield to protect against the sprays and stuff like that. Their defense 15 while they're in Temporal Flux. Effectively defense 17 against the heavies, so that's going to be a big deal. Really difficult for those big Warbeasts to crack. Fortunately for Circle, Kromac has Carnage, which is going to give them additional +2 to hit. So basically going down to effective defense 15 with the Boom Howlers against the heavy War Beasts. But that's still enough to force them to boost if they want to hit reliably. But here we go with Kromac. First off, going in, teleporting in, casting Carnage, using Corpse Tokens to clear out those Boom Howlers right there. And then dropping his feet down as well. Mostly defensive feat in this game. I don't have a lot that Kromac needs the feat to kill. Maybe the Lancer, but he can do it. Almost anything in his army can do it that pretty easily just by itself. So mostly defensive feat to get the +2 armor. He's sprinting here into a very commanding position, center of the table. Sitting there, 3 transfers, defense 14, armor 20. Not a lot that I can kill him, especially since he's going to have a counter magic bubble in that area as well. So I'm not going to be able to knock him down with spells or anything like that. Trying for a Hunter's Mark on the Lancer, unfortunately missing because of Temporal Flux. I think if he did get that Hunter's Mark, my opponent's going to try to clear out the Storm Lances in front of Gitterix and try to get Gitterix into the Lancer and kill him off before the Lancer really does anything. Unfortunately, Counter Magic not making the Lancer is particularly useful in this game. So he's probably not a huge target. He does contest the zone pretty well, though. No Hunter's Mark means that Gitterix would be out of range, though, so he's just charging into these Storm Lances, automatically killing one with the feet because he gets the automatic hit on charge attacks, and then just buying attacks, kills them. They fail their command check from Terror, so they are fleeing, and then that Boom Howler there gets knocked over by another successful tough check. Some exciting thought going on in this turn. Very thoughtful. Alright, moving some models. It's a Rudderhorn Griffin moving up, and then just taking a couple swings at that remaining Stormlance there. Ends up dealing a couple damage, not doing too much, but gets him on the last roll there. So there's 3 Stormlances down on my side, so I did end up trading those Stormlances for the Druids. But that is the number. If I feat, I can revive them all back and hopefully get some good charges off. It depends on where the Druid Clouds go down and where my opponent decides to put his Shifting Stones, which is a big deal. So we're putting Druid Clouds down in front of Kromac, obviously counter magic going down to protect him against spells. The Stalker moving up, getting a free charge from the Fuel Cache objective that my opponent has there, charging up into Boom Howler, warping Strength, and then casting Sprint on himself. He hits automatically with the charge attack, so he's able to get around my high defense that way. Hits him, kills him with the initial attacks, buys an attack, kills another Boom Howler, and then triggers Sprint to move back there to safety. Obviously, the Stormlances are on the other side of the table, so I don't have a lot there that can really deal with a Warpwolf Stalker. I don't think I'm going to be able to kill it this turn, but hopefully I can get a couple of Stormblades into it and get some damage off. Here's some Shifting Stones moving up in the blade just to be super annoying, and then the Gobber is putting another Cloud down to protect those Druids in the back from any ranged attacks that I have. If that counter magic Druid goes down, there is a chance I could knock down Kromac and get some attacks into him. Obviously, it wouldn't be a huge deal because he's armor 20, so I don't have a lot that can really crack his armor besides like charging models, and I think there's too much in the way to get there. But basically, what we have to do this turn is try to clear out as many of these War Beasts as possible. With the +2 armor from his feet, it's going to be rough. But I do have Ragman there in a central position. I think he's up there next to the Lancer and next to Future Haley. Unfortunately, this camera is very dark. I didn't realize that before I started recording. I would have gotten more light, I think, if I had realized how dark it would be. So I apologize for that. This is a new store I was recording at. Obviously, very grateful that they allowed me to record, but I didn't know that my crappy old camera wouldn't pick up enough light to make the game easily legible. Hopefully, it's not too bad for you guys watching at home on the YouTubes. But what we have going on here is an Arcane Shield going down onto the Stormblades. That's mostly to protect them from the Screeches from the Rudderhorn Griffins, as well as the sprays from the Blackclads. The Stormblade Captain charging one of the Shifting Stones, kills it, and then quick works into a second Shifting Stone and kills that as well. So a bit of luck on my part there. But that is able to clear out the charge lanes for a bunch of these Stormblades. So they're going to be able to get some really good charges off onto these War Beasts. So here go the Boom Howlers, just getting some charges off. We're getting 2 assaults into the Shifting Stone there. And then that last Boom Howler moving away from Gunner is taking a free strike and making it. So unfortunately, that Boom Howler is now in the way of all my charges. Like I said before, this list does tend to cluster up a little bit. It's a lot of infantry hiding behind those Boom Howlers. And there's Ragman going up and dropping down his Death Field. He is outside of the counter magic bubble. It's only 6 inches at this point, and the actual Druid leader is pretty far back in that Gobber Cloud. So I am outside of the counter magic to get the spells off right there. Haley's going down, feeding this turn to get more revives. So you see Future Haley put a Stormlance out there at the top of the zone, and then a second one on the hill, and then Present Haley replicating that to put another one on the hill. Moving everybody up, we're moving past Haley up to attack that Rudderhorn. We're going to try to clear it out and get some charges in onto the Stalker there. She's within 3 inches of Ragman, so she's going to benefit from the Death Field and give -2 armor to the Rudderhorn. Unfortunately, not rolling particularly well. I miss a bunch of attacks and then roll relatively low on damage. Pretty average there, actually, and then we spike really high at the end and just kill it. So, fortunately, taking that model out. The Lancer moving up, just taking some extra attacks. I think I took it into the Boom Howler to try to kill him, and it didn't break armor. I did also take, should be noted, I took a hand cannon shot from Present Haley and a phase bolt shot from Future Haley. So, and it made both tough checks. So we're 3 tough checks in that Boom Howler, and he's still there in the way of my Stormblades. So I decided just to keep going and try to get as many charges as I could on all these other intervening models, and then use the Tactician from the Stormblade Captain to get the Stormlances in on Getorix and try to clear him out. He is near Ragman, and the Lancer is giving him -2 armor, so we do have a pretty good shot at taking him out. So we've Beast Lore onto the Stormblades here. Got one swing into the... so there's the Boomhowler finally failing its tough check and getting cleared out, so the Stormlances can take that spot. A lot of shooting going in onto the Rotterhorn, doing a bunch of damage. I got one Stormblade in on Gitterix as well, and then one on the Stalker. Rolling pretty well. I think I do a bunch of damage to Gitterix, but unfortunately I'm not able to kill the Rotterhorn. The +2 armor from the feet really did save it, and it's sitting there on a couple boxes. So I'm not able to get as many Stormlances in on Gitterix as I wanted. I do get 4. So between the gunshots under, I think he's under... Oh, no, he's not under Temporal Flux right now. The Haleys are too far away. But he does get... I do get enough attacks with Death Field, knocking his armor down by 2 to clear him out. So that's Gitterix down. One Rotterhorn's out, and the other Rotterhorn severely damaged. So we're basically looking at Kromac and the Stalker here, who are going to be leveraging the most work. And at the end of my turn, the Haley's moving away. Obviously, both of them corporeal this turn because they both did make attacks, but there's future Haley checking her control, making sure Kromac doesn't have range to get to her. I think the only way he could kill one of the Haleys would be to get the Stalker into past Haley, but he would need to clear out a bunch of the Boomhowlers and the Stormblades in the way there. So Tactical Supremacy really making it so that the Haleys are very well protected this turn. So there's the Gorax moving up, taking swings at 2 of the Stormlances that were revived. They are obviously only on 1 box, killing both of them. So that's 2 Stormlances dead again. Those Stormlances, once they get revived, unfortunately don't stick around too long. Fully health Stormlances, with Arcane Shield, you can buff them up pretty hard, and they do stick around, but unfortunately once they get revived, they only staying on 1 box, they tend to die pretty easily. So we're just checking the shifting stones. Unfortunately, with both of the sprints, my opponent has moved both Kromac and the Stalker outside of the big unit of shifting stones there. That's something that usually happens with Kromac. Obviously, you can get teleported effectively 10 inches out of the shifting stones and then sprint back only 6. So it does tend to happen that you're not able to sprint back into the shifting stones, and they're going to have to spend a turn repositioning in order to become relevant the next turn. But my opponent spending a lot of time here. He spent a lot of time on his feet turn, so unfortunately the clock's not looking too good for him. You can sort of see it on the top there, ticking down very quickly. This is a Black Cloud spray being resolved here, knocking Murdoch down, killing one of the Stormblades that had charged in at the Stalker. Kromac moving up. Taking some swings at the, Stormblades that were there, so killing the Stormblades very easily. With Mat 8, there's no Temporal Flux in that area because I wanted to move the Haleys far enough away to be relevant later so they don't get killed. And then, so he's killing the Stormblades around using corpse tokens to buy attacks onto the Lancer. Lots of damage going in the Lancer. Kromac, huge beast, power 17. Second highest base power strength for a Warlock in the game, I think, and next to Thagrosh 2, so power strength 19 on his feet turn, he can get in and get a ton of damage out. So he does end up scrapping the Lancer, unfortunately only on 2 boxes at this point. My opponent mentioned that if you look at his clock, he is running very low, so his play here is to essentially bait out an assassination. He is still very difficult to kill. He's defense 14, behind a wreck marker, armor 18, 2 transfers. He has a lot of stuff to transfer to. Still has a Rotterhorn there. He has the full health Gorax, mostly full health Stalker. Actually took a wallop from a Stormblade, so he's not really full health, but he's looking pretty healthy. So my opponent still has a lot of transfer targets there. Obviously the Druid's still alive, so the counter magic bubble is still going to be up. I'm not really going to be able to get a lot of counter magic going on. Stalker moving in, taking Ragman out, so I'm not going to be able to get -2 armor into Kromac if I do try to kill him. And then taking some swings into Murdoch. Unfortunately, Murdoch making a bunch of tough checks, so the Stalker's not able to get a swing into that last Boomhowler. He does opt to trigger Sprint. I believe he got Sprint from the Druid Wilder. So free Sprint. and he's taking it to move backwards. Unfortunately, taking a free strike from that Boomhowler, not rolling particularly high, only does 1 damage, I think. So the Stalker still ends up taking a reasonable amount of damage from just random attacks. He's about a third of the way dead at this point, I think. Gobber's putting clouds down, Druid's counter-magicking. I think they got a couple Force Bolts into some random solos as well there, but weren't able to really do much. And back over to my turn. So, obviously, Kromac in a very commanding position, basically daring me to kill him. I think I have to go for assassination at this point. My opponent does only have 2 minutes on his clock left, so if he opts to keep playing, he's probably going to clock out if I can just play defensively. But killing casters is what Haley3 is known for, so here we go. Gorman moving up into the zone there. Hopefully, I was hoping to get within 4 inches of Kromac. Ended up just being about a 1/10 of an inch out. So just rolling to hit Kromac, missed and deviated the black oil onto him anyway. So Kromac blind at this point, only defense 10. And we're deciding the best course of action to get charges in on him here. There's still a Shifting Stone in the middle of all the Stormblades there, so we can't get any clean charges onto Kromac. We're going to have to kill that Shifting Stone first. But we're moving the Haleys to get Temporal Flux up. Reviving some Stormlances to get charges into Kromac later on. So there's one Stormlance from past Haley, or from future Haley, sorry, and then another Stormlance from present Haley. She opted to drop Tactical Supremacy in order to get enough focus to also Temporal Flux. Future Haley taking an aim shot at Gorman, boosting damage, killing him, and then here are all of Baby Haley's attacks. Unfortunately, not rolling particularly well. She hit every attack, but dice -8, she wasn't really able to do a ton of damage. I think in hindsight, I should have boosted and didn't. Opted not to boost. But here are the Stormblades going in. We're going to get, I believe, 2 actual charges onto Kromac, so two charges, and we're able to make it. One attack onto the Shifting Stone, and then another charge charged into Kromac with a Storm Gunner and failed. Hit a model in the way, so the Storm Gunner getting a shot onto Kromac hits, that causes all of the other Stormblade guns to hit. We end up taking out the Shifting Stone, getting 2 swings onto Kromac, doing a ton of damage, forcing both transfers, and then the Stormlances will go in, end up killing him with the Stormblade Captain there. So that is the end of the game. Haley able to get enough leverage to kill Kromac at the end of the game there. Obviously my opponent spending a lot of time on his feet turn trying to unravel the puzzle that is Haley3, and that forced him into making some aggressive plays at the end there. If I wasn't able to get blind on him, and if some of my dice had been pretty bad, it could have put me in a bad spot. I don't know if Prime Haley would have been in danger at all at that point. There was enough stuff in the way that I think I was okay, but it would have allowed him to make a play for it. He could have potentially tried to berserk through with the Stalker, tried to clear out a charge lane for Kromac, and then gotten Kromac into Haley Prime, and that would have ended the game there. So obviously, gamble on my opponent's part. It probably wouldn't have been in that situation if he had more time on his clock. He could have played more defensively, probably played a scenario game, and had a pretty good shot at that. But obviously, great game to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. I am enjoying playing Haley3. Don't know if she's going to make my competitive pairing at this point. I'm hoping so. She unfortunately doesn't really answer Bradigus, which is sort of the question in the meta right now. I can answer almost everything outside of Bradigus. So a Bradigus drop might be necessary, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, stay tuned for some more battle reports sometime in the not-too-distant future. And I've been uploading tons of content up on wayoftheswan.com, so if you want to check that out, lots of blog articles going up there, tourney recaps from Masters games, especially Nova Open was just recently. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Everybody have a great day. Thank you very much for watching.